Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Today I'm going to show you how to make this adorable jumbo cupcake cake. The first thing I did was stack a 7-inch round cake over a 6-inch round cake. Underneath these two cakes is a 5-inch round cake board, and now I'm placing a 6-inch round cake board over the top and flipping it upside down. The 5-inch round board will stay in place, but the 6-inch round board will be removed, and I'm just using it as a guide for carving. I started out by carving straight down from the 5-inch cake board all the way down just to the edge of the 7-inch cake tier, not actually to the 6-inch cake board underneath. What we are creating is the cupcake liner, and once I flipped the cake over, I realized I wanted the top of it to be just a little bit smaller in diameter, so I went ahead and carved straight down from the 6-inch board to where I had already carved the 5-inch board. I probably would have done it in 2 sections anyway, just so I could have a clear view of each board. Once you're done carving the cupcake liner section of the cake, go ahead and set it aside and start on the top of the cupcake. For this, I placed a 7-inch cake on top of a 6-inch cake board. On top of that, I stacked a 6-inch round cake and then a 5-inch round cake. Next, I went to work carving a basic sort of hill shape for the top of the cupcake. Just make sure you don't carve past the very bottom edge of the bottom cake layer. Once that was done, I went back to the bottom of the cupcake. I removed the 6-inch board and added a thick layer of white chocolate ganache and spread it evenly over the top. Then you'll place a piece of wax paper over the top and smooth it really gently, and then flip that cake upside down and level it. Spread the excess white chocolate ganache up the sides of the cake. Next, I added a layer of white chocolate ganache all over the sides of the cake. Once you've got that as smooth as you can get it, go ahead and set it aside to set up. I moved back to the top tier of the cupcake, adding a layer of white chocolate ganache all over the outside. Since white chocolate ganache sets up a lot firmer than buttercream, I like to take the extra time to make it as smooth as possible, as any imperfections will show through the fondant. Once you're done, you can set it aside to let it finish setting up and then move back to the bottom tier of the cupcake. I'm using a bench scraper to indent some lines in the bottom tier of the cupcake to imitate the folds in the cupcake liner. You can measure these or you can just eyeball them like I am. To create the folds in the cupcake liner, I've seen a lot of people use snakes of fondant, but I decided to go ahead and try piping lines of white chocolate ganache, as the ganache sets up firmly the same way. Once done, I went ahead and put this tier in the fridge to make sure it's set up good and firm. Then I started to roll a long, thick snake of fondant for the top tier. I coated the entire tier with water, thinking I could wrap the snake around and have it stick to the water. It didn't work quite as well as I had planned, and I ended up piping white chocolate ganache to stick it on instead. Wrap the snake all the way around the tier to give kind of a swirl effect after we cover the tier with fondant. I pulled my bottom tier out of the fridge and cut off those points of white chocolate ganache before flipping it back over. I coated the entire tier with water, being really careful to get in all the cracks and folds, and then covered the cake with fondant. You'll need to be very patient during this process. If needed, you can flip the cake over to perfect the bottom. Next, I rolled out some pink fondant and covered the top tier. Again, be sure to be very thorough when wetting the cake so that the fondant sticks everywhere that you need it to. I feel that if I don't learn something new with each cake project, then I'm doing something wrong. With this cake, my suggestion would be to not tuck the fondant around the swirls that we created with the snake quite so tightly. I think it would have given a little bit more natural swirl effect, although I was really happy with the end product anyway. I used my scissors to trim off the excess fondant and then tucked it up underneath the cupcake. Next, you'll want to dowel your bottom tier just as you would a normal 2-tier cake. And then you're going to place the top of the cupcake over the bottom. Since this cake was tall and oddly shaped, I went ahead and placed a wooden dowel down the center of it. I created a cherry by rolling out some red gum paste into a cherry shape and using some tools to sort of indent a little hole in the top of it for the stem. I created a little stem using the same red gum paste. I let that stem dry overnight before inserting it into the cherry. Naturally, every cupcake needs sprinkles, and these were super simple to create using different colors of fondant, rolling them into snakes, and then using a razor blade to cut them to size. I attached the sprinkles all over the cupcake and the cake board using piping gel. I attached the cherry to the top using a little bit of piping gel. There it is, the finished jumbo cupcake cake, along with a picture of my sweet little Hannah next to her cake. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. We'll see you next time.